Hi, I'm Colin Parrish, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the process of how to get into dental school. I will be going to dental school, and I'm a junior right now, so I'm just kind of in that process, and it's something I'm passionate about, so that's what I chose to do my presentation on. Okay, so first we're going to talk a little bit about why dentistry. So the first thing with pretty much any healthcare occupation is you get to serve people, you get to help people in need. Everyone needs dental care. It's something that is important to everybody and is necessary, so that's something that's exciting about it. Another thing that I love personally is that you get to interact with people. Dentists know their patients, they usually know their names, they know something about them, where that's not true in a lot of other occupations. And then obviously most dentists live a pretty good lifestyle and they're paid well, so that's not the biggest thing for it, but it's definitely a positive. Okay, so first I just want to go through a very basic timeline for what you need to do during your 4 years of your undergrad to get into dental school. So that starts off when you're just a freshman and sophomore. You just need to take those basic science classes, doing those basic things. You need to start with like shadowing. A big part of dentistry and getting into dental school is job shadowing. You need to shadow dentists and some specialists even. Another thing is doing service. Like I said, healthcare is very big into serving people. That's what it's all about. And so getting into dental school is no different. Schools want to see that you care about people. They want you to prove that through your actions rather than your words. And then coming into your junior year, you're going to continue to do those things, continue to get good grades, but you're also going to start studying for and take the DAT. The DAT's the dental admission test. It's very important. It's their biggest judge for how prepared you are for dental school academically. Dental school is very strenuous and very academically challenging. They want to make sure they have students that are ready for that and have a good baseline knowledge. The summer between your junior and senior year, you're going to apply. You're going to take 5 or 6 months and do your application. And we'll talk about all this later, but in more detail. But you're going to apply then, and then after that, you're going to graduate. Hopefully, get accepted to some schools. Hopefully, your dream school, and then you're going to matriculate and go to dental school. So that's kind of what we're going to cover today. Okay, so first I just wanted to go over some of those specific classes you're going to need to take. Different schools have different requirements, but there's a few that almost all schools have. So let's just go over the list. So all schools, you'll see right here, they all want general biology 1 and 2. They all want general chemistry 1 and 2. They all want organic chemistry 1 and 2. And then English or some sort of writing, like technical writing is a class that would cover that, as well as physics 1 and 2. So those are that I believe, I'm almost positive that every single dental school in America requires you to take. Some other ones that are recommended by almost all of them, or if not required, are biochemistry. And that's a tough class. Some sort of math. Some schools are more specific on that, but some sort of math. And then anatomy and physiology. Those pertain to the human body, and so those are a big part of it. And then there's others that are recommended, and there are a few schools that require them, such as the University of Utah here in Utah requires microbiology. Others require cellular and molecular biology, and then several require psychology. So pretty much any science class is good. All right, like I mentioned earlier, the DAT, the dental admissions test, it's a huge thing in your application. It's something that's very important into you being a good applicant. I took the DAT this last summer, spent 2 or 3 months pretty much all day studying for it. It's very comprehensive. It covers all those like absolutely required classes. It will take anything from them, plus some other classes aren't required. So it covers 6 sections. Some of them are very, very specific pertaining to dentistry and science, and then some of them are more just general knowledge and your ability to learn. So we'll just go through those. So the first one is reading comprehension. That's where you're gonna get essays. You're gonna get these essays and have to read them pretty quickly and answer questions about them. So you want to be able to just practice reading, get to where you're very confident in comprehending something as you're reading it. The next one is quantitative reasoning. That's a fancy way to say math. Math is huge for dental school. It's huge for a lot of things. and it's just another thing that they want to see you being able to excel at. And these are mainly so you don't get into dental school and it's just too hard. They don't want it to be too heavy of a course load for you. They want you to be able to keep up and succeed. The next one's perceptual ability. This is something that's very unique. I had never heard of it before. I had never really seen it. So it's stuff where they'll give you shapes and you need to be able to put together what the shape looks like. Maybe what would fit into this weird shaped keyhole. And these are things that you have to do in dentistry, like not keys or weird shapes, but you have to be able to see a tooth and be able to comprehend what it should look like. You're molding people's teeth and their smiles and their mouths, and so you need to be able to see places that you can't necessarily actually see with your eyes, and be able to put together a picture from different angles of what you want these things to look like. The next one obviously is biology. This takes content from pretty much any biology class our university offers, so it's stuff that you're not going to be able to just study one class for. So it's very, very comprehensive, very challenging. For me, it was the hardest section. Next is general chemistry. Like I said, that's a required class, something that's very important. And then the last one is organic chemistry, which is notoriously challenging, and the DAP is also very challenging when it comes to organic chemistry. Okay, so I just wanted to go over what competitive scores are when it comes to your GPA and your DAP. So your GPA, unless you have some other very, very impressive extracurricular activities or something like that, you need to be at least a 3.5 overall. And if you are that low even, or if you're even a little lower, you need to be trending upwards. So that means maybe your freshman year you're not very focused, but by your senior year you need to show that you're improving, that you're putting in the time, and that you're capable of succeeding in these tougher classes. So that's what I would say the least is. A lot of schools, the average GPA will be around a 3.7, and sometimes even higher. So that's kind of the least that I would say you need to shoot for to be competitive. The DAT. So the DAT, like I mentioned, I didn't mention it, but it was on the last slide. It's scored out of 0 to 30, with 17.5 being the average score. So to be competitive, you need probably at least an 18. And you need to not have any sections that were really bad. Like you need to be at least a 15 or 16 on everything, and hopefully an 18 on average, or preferably more like 20. Similar to GPA, 18 is probably the lower end of what you can get in with, and that would include you having some extra stuff. Maybe your GPA is a 4.0 and your DAT's an 18, that might be okay, but if they're both at this level, you're probably going to struggle to get into the schools you want to get into. So the DAT's very important. Getting a 20, it should probably be your goal. All right, like I mentioned earlier, and this is something that means a lot to me, is service. I have loved my service opportunities as I've been preparing to get into dental school, and it's something that sneaks up on you if you don't put in the time early. So one of the things that's important is this can't just be service of going and raking your neighbor's yard, getting their leaves. This can't be mowing your grandma's lawn. This can't be going and shoveling your neighbor's driveway. You know, this has to be consistent service with organizations, and that's because they want to know that you actually did this and to have a little bit better idea of what you did. So, like I've done it with some organizations here in Cedar City. I've done it with some national organizations based out of Cedar City or based out of northern Utah, where I'm from. And these are awesome experiences, but they take time, and it's hard to be consistent, especially when you're busy with school and with other things. So to be competitive, you need at least 100 hours. Some schools require at least that many hours. So that's about 50 hours a year. If you're probably a little bit more than that if you're starting off your freshman year. That needs to be between 100 and 200 hours total. The next thing, like I mentioned, is shadowing. So this is going into dentist's office and trying to see what they're doing every day. You don't want to get to dental school and realize you've never watched a dentist. And so this is something they require across the board. Different hours requirements, but you don't need to shadow 4 to 5 dentists. They want most of those to be general dentists. They don't want you to be shadowing all orthodontists or something like that, because that's not what you're going to school for. So this is really important. This is something that I feel like I've been able to learn from, because even though you may be a pre-dental student, you really don't know much about dentistry. So this is something that I think is huge. And then, similar to service, you need to have at least 100 hours to be competitive. All right, the next thing, just other extracurricular stuff. So the first thing I've heard and what I think is you got to do what you love. You need to be your own person. You need to do things you're passionate about. So this is me. I play football here at SUU, so that's something that I love to do, something that means a lot to me that has nothing to do with dentistry. I play offensive line, and trying to block people doesn't apply to dentistry at all, right? But it's something that I do that makes me more well-rounded. And I think I can draw a lot of experiences from that even though they don't apply specifically to dentistry, I think I've learned things, and that can help me as I'm applying and as I'm in dental school and beyond, be able to take those things I've learned and apply them in other ways. Other things like that are like church service, any clubs you belong to. Some people love video games. Some people love chess. I don't know what other clubs are. There's so many things. Some people love different languages, different cultures. So whatever you're passionate about, I think it's being involved in that. And then another thing is manual dexterity. So obviously dentists use their hands a lot. You see them, they have little instruments and they're doing stuff trying to fix your teeth, right? So you need to show and practice being able to do things with your hands, having very good fine motor skills. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Alright, so then the next part is your application. So like I said at the beginning, you apply between your junior and senior years if you're a traditional student. Most people recommend that you start your application about 4 months before you actually submit it. It's a really big thing, it's a really big deal. It's how you're actually showing yourself. And then you want to apply to about 12 to 15 schools, depending on how confident you are in your application, I guess. And you need to budget for this. Dental school is very expensive. A lot of dental schools cost over $100,000 a year. So I guess this $1,000 to $2,000 doesn't look like much in that case, but for a poor college student like myself, that's a lot of money. So I got to budget for that. Another thing is your personal statement. That's where you're in a page or so trying to really portray who you are, portray your story. You want these people to look at you not like a name with a set of numbers. You want them to look at you like a person that has real life experiences. And then the last thing is letters of recommendation from professors, from supervisors, dentists, or whatever else. That people that can attest to your character and to what you really are about and what kind of person you are. Alright, and then after that you go to your interviews with these schools. So it's important to be genuine, be confident. They want to, like I said, they want to get to know you. They don't know who you are beyond your stats, beyond your paper. And so I think this is a really crucial part that it's hard to prepare for. But the other thing to remember this is you have to pay for your own flights to these schools and for your own lodging. So the costs can add up with this quickly as well. All right, and that's it. That's the gist of what it takes to get into dental school, going through your 4 years or 5 years of college. It's a lot to get done. You got to work hard. You have to be good at managing your time and setting goals and reaching those goals. So I think that's something to keep in mind if that's what I'd give advice to someone that wants to do this. But also just knowing that you can do it. If you work hard and you stick with your plan and don't lose confidence when something doesn't go your way, it is attainable and it is a goal that you can reach.